Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. In today's video, this is a different kind of video, as you can see on the screen. This is not a traditional Storm Prediction Center video, because there really isn't a lot of severe weather to talk about. Yes, there are two slight risks of severe weather today for Texas and Oklahoma, tomorrow for Nebraska and South Dakota, and yes, they both can cause some pertinent severe weather hazards, but to be quite honest, I don't feel like it's so worthy of covering because not only is the tornado threat not high, but the wind and hail threats are kind of not that high. They're only a 15% hatched for today and a regular 15% for tomorrow. So I really feel like those specific parameters don't constitute me making a video about it. I feel like other people have it covered, and I just don't feel like I really should be covering it. However, uh, there are other prediction centers, that I would like to cover in the future, like the Weather Prediction Center and the Climate Prediction Center. Now, the Climate Prediction Center is what I am displaying on the screen. You can also see the website up top, cpc.ncep.noaa.gov, if you really want to explore this website at the end of this video. And if you want to explore it while the video is playing to get an understanding of what the Climate Prediction Center is about, by all means, you always can. And, yep. Alrighty, so let's dive into this. So, the Climate Prediction Center, for context, prognosticates meteorological context. Prognostication is looking into the future, finding details, and making a weather forecast. That is what prognostication is in a meteorological sense. The Climate Prediction Center, what they do is they prognosticate, forecast the temperature and precipitation conditions, specifically their probabilities, not their tumultuousness, but the probabilities of said things occurring. Even more specifically, anomalies. The Climate Prediction Center will indicate if there are certain temperature or precipitation anomalies across the contiguous United States, plus Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, and Hawaii. And they do this to essentially make people more aware, and especially the National Weather Service as a whole, make more people aware of imminent potential heat waves or cold blasts or droughts or deluges of precipitation. All right. That's what they're known to do, what they're known for, and what they should be doing. And I am very glad that they're doing, because it definitely predicts way more things than we ever can. All right. And thanks to the models for providing this information. The Climate Prediction Center works like this. There are going to be above normal, below normal, and near normal probabilities of temperature and or precipitation. Now, near normal, what I'm zoomed in on right now, should be pretty obvious. Near normal, the thing I'm zoomed in on, as I said twice, is, I feel like it's kind of new to me. I feel like I haven't really seen this before, but maybe it's only on weeks 3 to 4 or past that. I'm not sure. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what else do they do besides weeks 3 or 4? They issue uh, other outlooks, like the 6 to 10 day outlook, or 8 to 14 day outlook, or a 1 month period, or a 3 month period. That's what they usually do. And I'm very happy that they do that. because I can get a sense of stuff. And again, going back to this graph here, you'll notice there are different colors. They mean different things. Obviously, going from the lightest orange to the darkest red, like slash blood color, that means that temperatures are, the Climate Prediction Center thinks that temperatures, the anomalies of temperatures, are going to be above normal. There will be above normal temperatures, potentially. And the further down the graph you go, the more confident the more confidence is being invested in such a prognostication like a heat wave. Maybe even a record-breaking heat wave. Maybe that. Near normal is kind of what it sounds like. It's near the normal climatology, the normal climatological temperatures for that specific day and that time period. I shouldn't say day, I should say time period. And that's kind of rarely issued because none are going to really be near normal because they're so tumultuous sometimes and they're so back and forth. Models are so biased on one thing and others are not. So it's, in my opinion, kind of rarely issued, but sometimes it's not. And then below normal is the very light blue to the very dark blue. It almost looks purple. And basically, the further down the graph you go, on the blue side, on the below normal, the higher probabilities that such prognostication, like an Arctic cold blast or the polar vortex, is just breaking apart. That is that could happen. And I've definitely seen both the high end and the low end for uh, maps on the Climate Prediction Center. And I look at the CPC Climate Prediction Center almost every day. I try to as much as I can because I would like to see in the future what the temperature trends would be like. I really would like to see that. It's interesting to me, and plus it's also just in general a very good thing to know. It really is. It's a very good thing to know what the potential temperature will be in your area. It's a very great thing to know. Um, Equal chances are really just the equal chance of being in warmth versus cold. They kind of cancel each other out climatologically when you look at it from that perspective. Uh, so yeah. Anyways, let's get into it. So this is the week 3 to 4 temperature outlook for the contiguous United States, Alaska, the Aleutian Islands, and Hawaii. We're also going to do a precipitation outlook, and then there's also going to be a description. Just like I read with like the SPC descriptions, there's a Climate Prediction Center description. It's really called a quote prognostic discussion, but I'm going to call it a description for syllabic purposes. Syllabic. I don't know how to say that word, but syllabic purposes. Uh, So let's first off start on the East Coast, because that's where I live, on the East Coast. On the East Coast, there is a 40 to 50% chance. You could always you could always take a screenshot of the graph and then correlate the colors to the probabilities of being above, below, normal, or just equal. You could always screenshot this and save it. So for the East Coast, there's a 40 to 50% chance of above average temperatures from the June 13th to the 26th period. So on June 13th to the 26th, there should be a 40 to 50% above average chance of seeing above normal temperatures. There's a 40 to 50% chance of seeing above normal temperatures. That's for the East Coast. Then you go into the Ohio Valley and, the Midwest. We're staying in the hot zone for now. Uh, the quote hot zone. There's a 33 to 40% chance. Even if you go down into portions of Kentucky, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, and Texas, and also up through the northern plains and into the like northern mountains in Montana, Idaho, and Washington, and all through the Rockies, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. The orange, the very light orange, the lightest orange, is all 33 to 40% chances of above average temperatures for the week 3 to 4 temperature outlook period. Uh, then there's then, the West Coast, there's a 40 to 50% chance of above normal temperatures from Oregon all the way down, Washington into Idaho, into Colorado and Wyoming, into portions of Utah, the northwestern tip of Mexico, and a big portion of Arizona, and also California, and a very small bit of Nevada. Then there's a 50 to 60% chance, that's the darkest orange on the left hand side of the screen on the west coast. There's a 50 to 60% chance of above average temperatures stretching from the extreme southern portions of Washington state all the way through Oregon, Nevada, Utah, and California, as well as northern Arizona and extreme southwestern portions of Wyoming, extreme western portions of Colorado, and southwestern Idaho. There are equal chances spanning from the whole entire state of Nebraska all the way down through into Texas. That's the white area, the whited out area for the whole state of Nebraska, down into Texas, all the way through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, parts of Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, and South Dakota, Wyoming, and more. Then, and also, can't forget UP of Michigan, northern portions of the LP of Michigan, and parts of northern Wisconsin. And the tip of Minnesota there. And then we get into the below average categories. This means that the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting below average temperature probabilities in this area, below normal temperatures. There is a 33 to 40% chance of below normal temperatures from Kansas to Tennessee and Alabama, all the way into Texas and up through the New Mexico and Colorado area. And then there is a 40 to 50% chance spanning from near Memphis all the way through the whole state of Little Rock into western Texas and most of Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Mississippi and Missouri. There's also, again, a precipitation outlook. Can't forget, can't forget Hawaii, Alaska, and the Aleutian Islands. I'm not really going to go into depth because that's not really that's not the contiguous United States, and all I really am focused on is the contiguous United States. There are scattered chances of below or above chances of temperatures in the Aleutian Islands, Alaska, and however, Hawaii is just completely above normal by like a lot. So cool. Like the main island, the big island is above normal, and then the others are above normal. The whole state of Hawaii is above normal, which is fantastic. But I don't live there, so cool. But anyways, so now let's transition over to the precipitation outlook. It's loading. It's loading. There it is. So, the week 3 to 4 precipitation outlook. The Climate Prediction Center expects a 40 to 50% above normal precipitation probabilities for a large portion of the country, spanning from most of the East Coast through the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, the Midwest, the Plains, and into New Mexico. And same thing with the 33 to 40%, the lightest green, spans from Florida to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, the California, Nevada, stuff over there near the Rockies, into the Northern Plains, into Chicago, Detroit, Gary, Indiana, into New England as well, and even into Maine. The equal chances are the white spaces from California to, the northern Great Plains, or I should say the Great Lakes, the northern Great Lakes area, parts of Maine and the New England areas, parts of Florida, parts of the Deep South, and that's it. And then there's a below normal precipitation probability. You could also reference this graph as well. This is the precipitation graphics. The graph, essentially, it'll help you differentiate certain things between certain other things. So, see that right there? You can screenshot, you can do whatever. There are 33 to 40% below normal probabilities from the Dakotas through the Rocky Mountains and the mountains in the extreme northern portions of the U.S. into the kind of like Sierra Nevadas, basically. And then there's a 40 to 50% probability of below normal precipitation for the entire state of Oregon, most of Washington, most of Idaho. I'm forgetting everything. I don't even know why. Portions of Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and California. What that means is that what's prognosticated is there are going to be more events of precipitation over the eastern United States, and also across a band of territory from the Mid-Atlantic and New England-ish regions, Hartford, Connecticut, and stuff like that, through New England, the Mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley, the Southeast, the Deep South, the Plains, and into New Mexico. It's like a stretch of a swath of above average or precipitation probabilities. And there are expected to be lesser amounts of precipitation in the Pacific Northwest. Yes, Oregon is expected to lose out on the precipitation from the middle of June to the closing of June. That's what is expected to happen. And also, for Alaska, Hawaii, and the Aleutian Islands, there are both equal chances of above average and below average precipitation in some areas, with Hawaii almost all having equal chances. Alaska has equal chances, also a little bit below. You can see the brown there, the light brown. You can see the green as well, but mostly it's just white. There's also some brown over here, but it doesn't really matter that much. There's also the Aleutian Islands have equal chances, yet also have below chances, and Hawaii has all above normal except for a couple of islands that are equal chances. Alright, so I said that there was going to be a prognostic discussion. Here it is. Yippee. It's actually not that bad. So, prognostic discussion for week 3 to 4 temperature and precipitation outlooks. National Weather Service Climate Prediction Center, College Park, Maryland. 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Friday, May 29th, 2026. Week 3 to 4 forecast discussion, valid Saturday, June 13th, 2026 to Friday, June 26th, 2026. My birthday is on a Sunday. Awesome. My birthday is June 28th. The weeks 3 to 4 temperature and precipitation outlooks issued this week are based on dynamical model guidance, analogs, teleconnections, trends, and sea surface temperature anomalies. So this combines modular data, like, you see Ryan Hall or Max Velocity looking at the jet stream, combines that data also with sea surface data, because El Nino, La Nina, the El Nino Southern Oscillation, ENSO, ENSO, that plays a huge role in our temperatures and precipitation. It does. And we are, if you're living under a rock, you don't know this, but we are expected to get the worst El Nino of all time. It's expected to be predicted to be the worst El Nino of all time, the strongest, the most intense, the most writhing, and it's going to be bad. I've seen everything, and I can completely support the idea that this will be a super El Nino, where it's like, I don't know, 2 to 3 degrees above normal in Celsius. They use Celsius for water temperature. I don't. And I don't feel like predicting the water temperature in Fahrenheit, so it's just Celsius. That's what they use. So that's just for context. But here we go. Here is the actual discussion. Relative sea surface temperature anomalies in the equatorial Pacific are now near plus 0.5 degrees Celsius, continuing the rapid transition from La Nina towards El Nino. Current and forecast outgoing long-wave radiation anomalies, or OLR anomalies, indicate a low-frequency, weak negative anomaly, indicating enhanced convection, has developed near and just west of the international dateline consistent with warm sea surface temperatures associated with El Nino over that region. Therefore, weak El Nino forcing will likely impact the contiguous United States heading into June, despite the weaker extratropical teleconnections that are typical in Northern Hemisphere summer compared to winter. The MJO, or Madden-Julian Oscillation, is currently active in Phase 7 with anomalously strong convection over the western equatorial Pacific. Most guidance suggests a continuation of the MJO into Phase 8 before the amplitude crashes and the signal becomes less robust. MJO Phase 7 during an El Nino in May tends to lead to an enhanced 500 HPA hectopascal. You could also say millibars, they're really the same thing. 500 millibar ridge over the western contiguous United States, with anomalous troughing over parts of the southeastern contiguous United States 3 to 4 weeks after the forcing. There is moderately good agreement in the dynamical model guidance for the weeks 3 to 4 500 millibar geopotential height forecast. They favor an amplified ridge centered near the west coast of the contiguous United States, as well as above normal 500 millibar geopotential heights located along the Atlantic seaboard and over the North Atlantic. There is also relatively good agreement on a weakness in the ridge signal over the upper Midwest and extending down to the western Gulf Coast. Anomalous troughs near and south of the Aleutian Islands and over Greenland and the Arctic Ocean are also indicated by the dynamical models. The temperature outlooks for weeks 3 to 4 indicate enhanced probabilities of warmer than normal temperatures over Hawaii, west central Alaska, along the west coast of the contiguous United States, as well as extending up the Atlantic seaboard, with a less confident signal over much of the northern tier of the contiguous United States and along the immediate Gulf Coast. Enhanced probabilities of below normal temperatures are forecast for parts of the Southern Plains and the lower Mississippi Valley. The precipitation outlook for the weeks 3 to 4 period indicates heightened chances of drier than normal precipitation over much of the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies. Enhanced probabilities of wetter than normal conditions are favored over most of the Hawaiian Islands except for Kauai, Niihau, Yeah, I really don't know how to say that. And in a large swath of the southern and eastern contiguous United States, focused especially from New Mexico across the central Great Plains and the Ohio Valley to the Mid-Atlantic and over most of the southeastern contiguous United States. The next week 3 to 4 outlook will be issued next Friday, June 5th, 2026. These outlooks are based on departures from the 1991 to 2020 base period. There are 3 category outlooks consistent with what is currently used for the monthly and seasonal forecasts. So that is it. The shading stuff is kind of like doesn't really need to because I already explained it. So uh that's it. It's really it. I gave you guys everything. So yeah, essentially, again, quick summary. Hotter than or warmer than normal temperatures are likely on the west coast, probable on the east coast as well. Below normal temperatures are predicted for the deep south and the northern Gulf Coast states. Also, there's a higher than normal precipitation value slash anomaly for most of the United States, from New Mexico to the Mid-Atlantic and the Ohio Valley to the southeast. And then the Pacific Northwest will just be drier than normal. So, yeah, that's it. Uh, so, if you would, go to cpc.ncep.noaa.gov for more information. That is without capitals, without spaces, cpc.noaa or sorry, cpc.ncep.noaa.gov for more information. You can check out the days 6 to 8 outlook, days 8 to 14 outlook, this outlook also, the 1 month period outlook, and the 3 month period outlook. So you could always check those out as well. And there are plenty of other tools to look at there. So that's that for the Climate Prediction Center Prognostication Outlook. Have a great weekend, everybody. Oh, and before I go, I will be graduating sophomore year in 2 school days. On Tuesday, it will be my last day. So after Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, 2:53 p.m., I can make way more videos than I have been making. I've usually been tired, kind of. I've usually been somewhat tired or unmotivated or just not in the mood for making videos. So that's why I haven't necessarily been making a lot of videos because of schoolwork. There were Pennsylvania State testing 2 weeks ago. There also was just preparing to leave school. Now I'm already prepared, so I definitely can make more videos. Uh, Unfortunately, my mother will still be working, but my father will not be working. So I'll probably be doing a lot of stuff and I will probably be busy. I'll definitely have a busy summer. Try to make as many videos as I can, but it's no guarantee because I gotta go to Florida, then I gotta learn how to drive, and then I gotta get a permit and this and that and everything else. So it's definitely gonna be a busy summer. But I'm not looking forward to junior year, not because it's gonna be bad, but just because I don't want to go to school because it's just not the thing I want to do. Yeah, now I will get out of your hair. Sorry for being so talkative and having a lot of logorrhea, Logorrhea. You can search up that word. It's nothing bad. I will get out of your hair now. Have a great day and a great weekend, everybody.